Hey there guys, Dylan Cuesta here with footagecrate.com. In today's video I'm going to show you how to make your effects a little more dynamic by animating them with keyframes. Now what's great about footagecrate effects is their ease of use. They come pre-keyed and you can pretty much just drag and drop them into your videos. But like all great things, it's really more about how you use them rather than just how awesome the effect is on its own. So while you could totally do something as simple as getting shot from off screen, you can also take it a step further by giving it a sense of depth and momentum. So like if the actor is getting shot from behind, it would look more like... or getting sent from one side of the screen to the other. Okay, coming back from the dead is a little exhausting, so before I die for real, let's get on with the tutorial. Jeez. Alright, just to drive home the fact that you can do a lot with just one effect, I'm going to do all three of these variations with an effect called Bloody Messy Impact. And that one looks like this. Good all-purpose squib shot with a little bit of dust particles thrown in there just to make it a little more gritty. I like it. So I'm going to put 3 of them in there so we can use 1 per gunshot. Alright, let's start with that first one. Alright, now I'm going to line it up about where I pretend to get shot. Yeah, right there should work. So the most basic way you can possibly work with a footagecrate effect is by either going to effects controls and messing with the scaling and position through these values right here, or if you're feeling particularly hasty, you can just double click the effect, and then with these you can drag it to the approximate size that you want and then just place it wherever you want. So nothing too fancy, but you know, if you're going for something really quick and dirty, that's pretty much all you have to do. But enough simple stuff. Let's get to what we're really here for and start talking about that second shot from behind. So it's the same first couple of steps, just get it down to the size you want to start from and then put it about where you want the effect to be. Same interface of effects controls and then just messing with the values or the size to your heart's content. But the next step lies in these watch icons that you'll find at the side. As you can see, it says toggle animation, so we're going to click on the icons for position and scale. And these are what the title of the video gets its name from. These are called keyframes. The best way to really describe how these things work is to just, do it so you can see for yourself. So we're going to start from these 2 keyframes from position and scale. I'm going to move ahead a few frames in the timeline, just so we still have an idea of where the effect is going to be. And then what I'm going to do is go over to scale, make it bigger. It's about where I want it to be. I'm also going to adjust position. And then if we just play it back from here, you'll see that the effect grows and repositions itself as we progress through the timeline. In case you haven't figured it out, keyframes basically act as point A to point Z when you're trying to progressively move to a particular size or move from one place of the screen to another. So while the growth of this squib effect is pretty much where I want it to be, I would like the effect to get drawn out a little bit more. So what we're going to do is take these 2 selected keyframes and move it forward a few frames. Just by moving these keyframes back and forth, you can see that we're adjusting the speed at which the effect is going to move or grow or shrink or whatever we want to do. So I think about here should do it. I'm going to play it back, see if it's where I want it to be. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So again, by animating the scale of the effect as well as where it'll end up, we can tailor the effect to the purposes that we need for a particular scene. In this case, we get the illusion that the blood is coming towards the camera as the victim of the gunshot also careens forward, which makes the final product just a touch more realistic. Now just to move forward with the examples, I'm going to show you how to do that third and final shot where I go sideways. Again, same process, find where you want the effect to start, and then move it to where you would like it to begin. So once we've got that out of the way, we're going to once again click the icons for animation in both scale and position. I'm probably not going to focus too much on the scale portion since it's moving from left to right. I like my squib effects to kind of expand a little bit, but since it's on only one axis of movement, I'm not going to change that aspect as much as the position. But by using the arrow keys, we're just going to toggle through a couple of frames and get a general idea of where my body is in relation to the effect. I think about here's a pretty nice spot, so I'm going to move it so that it follows my body to give it a sense of carrying through with the bullet. And then I'm going to have it expand by playing with the scale just a touch. So playing it back, it looks like it's a little too hard to separate from the action happening on screen, so I'm going to move it forward just a little bit to slow down the progression. Now it definitely looks better, but if you look frame by frame, you'll notice that the smoke remaining from the blood and the gunshot comes to an abrupt halt, and that kind of makes it look a little more synthetic than we want it to be. So in these cases, what I like to do is create 2 additional keyframes a little before the end of the animation. Highlight those 2 endpoints and then drag it a little bit farther. There, that's pretty good. Let's take a look at them all one more time just so you can get an idea of how diverse you can make these effects. So yeah, if you're looking to make your effects seem a little more one with the environment that your footage takes place in, then this is the way to do it. But one thing I'd like to point out is that keyframes in animation aren't just limited to position or scale. I mean, there's also one for rotation, which, you know, can enhance your titles or even some of the effects on footagecrate. But you'll find in your editing suite that a lot of these effects also have the animation tool. I'm not going to focus too much on that this time around, but just know that there's plenty to experiment with all these different effects that come with these editing programs. And of course, for the purpose of this video, you can see that just by playing with where an effect starts and ends up, you can make some pretty cool stuff. By moving the effects around in your video, you can add an extra layer of depth and professionalism. Even that opening part with the muzzle flare was just a matter of rescaling from one smaller size to a larger size that took up all of the screen. I use pretty much the same technique whenever I want to rescale or animate a title, or even when I want to simulate camera movement in vlogs, short films, even these tutorials. Well, that pretty much covers everything you need to know about keyframes, so if you want to try animating some of your effects, head on over to footagecrate, download a few, and yeah, see what you can do. Anyway, till next time, peace.